Hey YouTube, welcome to the very first Graves into Gardens YouTube video. My name is Sarah. I am living currently in very cold, very snowy Rocky Mountain area in Colorado, and this is my very first YouTube video. And so yeah, let's just get right into it. So why am I doing this? Why am I starting a YouTube channel? This whole process is kind of foreign to me. I'm a registered nurse by trade. I have never done anything like this before. I don't put myself out there, so why am I doing this? I feel like it's worth explaining, must be for important reasons, and I think it's worthy to know the why of what you're doing in life. So here's my why. A couple months ago, I stumbled across a scripture out of Genesis that I really loved, and I read it to my husband because we've been talking about not only starting a YouTube channel but completely uprooting our lives and moving to a more like agrarian, rural, back to the earth kind of lifestyle. So I came across this quote, and it's from Genesis 1:27 through 31. It says, "So God created man in his own image. He created him in the image of God. He created them male and female. God blessed them, and God said to them, 'Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Rule the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, and every creature that crawls on the earth.' God also said, 'Look, I have given you every seed-bearing plant on the surface of this entire earth, and every tree whose fruit contains seed. This food will be for you, for all the wildlife of the earth, for every bird of the sky, and for every creature that crawls on the earth, everything having the breath of life in it. I've given every green plant for food.' And it was so. God saw all that he had made, and it was very good. Evening came, and then morning, the sixth day." So that scripture just like popped out at me, just jumped out at me. I ran to my husband and I said, "Matt, we have to do this. We have to return to God's intention for our lives, to God's plan for ourselves. We need to live according to his order, not according to the order of man." And it's something we'd been talking about anyways, but this was probably the first time I heard some kind of like biblical influence that really said, do it. You have a blessing upon you to do this, and absolutely you should if you can. So that segued very easily into our overall just dissatisfaction with the conventional and the normal that we live through nowadays. Our food system is failing and broken. Our healthcare system is a dismal failure. And what is normal now is to be isolated and anxious and depressed and needing to take medications just to get through your day. And we're so dissatisfied with that. We're so ready for something new and for something better. We think we can achieve it. We think we can achieve it by starting a little farm, getting back to, the principles set forth for us by God. He didn't give us cell phones and cars and light travel. He didn't do any of that right off the bat. He knew that that's not what we needed. He gave us seed-bearing plants and fruits and animals after their own kind, and a relationship with this earth that is not all about what we can consume from it. It was a system that was perfectly fit together for our good. And I think that that's absolutely worthy, and that's absolutely something that we can cling to in times of uncertainty, that God's order for our lives, for our children, for our relationships is buried somewhere in that passage. The third thing that sort of led us into what we're doing now is, honestly, it was our children. We have two children. We have a son and a daughter. They are 5 years old and 4 years old, very close together. But I really believe that shifting from a conventional, industrial and sort of city-oriented lifestyle is okay. If that's what you're doing, that's okay. I'm not bashing that at all, but I am saying that I think a rural life, a life covered in mud and bugs and surrounded by the natural world, is one of the best lives you can give a kid. You cannot overstate the importance of a child learning about the earth around them. And that's how I grew up. That's how my husband grew up. We lived in a very rural place in California. I spent basically my entire childhood summers when I wasn't in school disgustingly dirty, covered in mud, and fishing from dawn till dusk. I could not get enough of that. And for him, he lived a little ways away, but his parents had a farm, so he was used to that, and he was exposed to all that. You learn things when you live that kind of lifestyle. When you delve into that as a kid, you learn things that your parents could never teach you, that only God in his natural world can teach you. And that's so valuable, and something that I want to give to my kids. For as long as they'll have it, I want to give it to them, and hopefully they'll carry it on into their adulthood and give it to their own children. So where are we at right now? We are in my parents' backyard. I live with my mom and dad right now because we're in transition between our old home and the home we've bought in Tennessee now. It's very cold right now. I think it's like 20 degrees outside, so I'm doing the best I can here. But inside there's a lot of noise and people, and I have a big family, so it's a little bit congested inside. So I decided I'd take it outside and just get this video done, because this is something I've been wanting to do for months now, and been putting it off over and over, but it must be done. So here we are. We're headed to Tennessee. The first of 4 trips out there starts the day after tomorrow. So my husband's going to be taking stuff out there. I'm going to be going with him. It's just going to be a big process. We are in the process of moving our stuff out there. We have a dog, we have a cat, and I have 8 chickens that I insist on taking out with us. So the chickens are coming with us. Ooh, it's very windy. So some of our plans that are in process with getting out there and getting started, we are going to be planting gardens. I have not yet decided whether or not we want to do in-ground gardens or raised beds, or what kind of thing we want to do. When we lived in town a few months ago, we had raised beds because our backyard was pretty much just crushed granite. There was no green whatsoever back there, so we put in some raised beds, and those were very successful. Those were very fruitful for us. I loved it a lot, but I've never tried in-ground beds, so I want to try that. We also are we are expecting 3 dairy cows this spring. We put a deposit down on a 3-year-old cow this morning who has, she's been bred back. She's due in May. She is a Jersey cow, and she's just an absolute doll. I can't wait to get out there, get her to our farm, and start showing you guys her. She's, her owner, the person who has her now, says that her love language is scratches, like along her neck and chin, and I'm just like, oh my god, I can't wait. That's the best, because I've heard that some cows are like kind of grouchy a little bit, but they'll stand for milking or whatever, but it sounds like she's just a love bug, so I can't wait to show you guys that. She'll calve in May, and we are also anticipating, it may be this spring, it may be a little bit later in the scheme of things, maybe later this year, but we also have a mid-sized Jersey heifer deposit in coming from North Carolina as well. So we've got a cow that's bred in Tennessee and a cow that is still, her mom's still pregnant with her, if that makes sense, and she'll be coming to us sometime later this year. But we have plans for 3 cows. I'm hoping that the girl we're getting, Annie is her name, the 3-year-old, I'm hoping that she has a little baby heifer. I think that's what every cow owner wants most of the time, but even if she has a little bull, that's still something we can put to good use. So we have several business prospects that are in the works. We are trying to build up some self-sustainability with finances, and get our farm on the ground running, and churning out incredible quality, organically raised, ethically raised humane products. We want nutrient density in the foods and products we sell. We want products that give back and don't take away. We want products that are full of homegrown goodness. So that's one thing we do anticipate doing. I have some big hopes for like a little farm store, maybe even like a cute little once a week sit down restaurant where people can just come together and have community and get to know each other and get to know their neighbors. My family, we have a very large Hispanic family. We cook in large quantity, and we love to share it with people. We love to share it with our friends and our family. And so that's something I think we're looking at doing, is maybe putting in a commercial kitchen at some point and having a little like farm side Mexican restaurant, I guess. I'm not sure. The idea is not well fleshed out yet, but I'm working on it. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We are trying to get away from mainstream. We're trying to get away from conventional. We want to take part in practices that give back to the earth and regenerate the soil under our feet. It's so important to grow solar-powered food for our animals, grass, which is then turned into valuable protein, carbohydrates, fats, those kinds of things that give back to us, nourish our bodies back, instead of the food that we have on the shelves in the grocery store. The vast majority of it is going to cost you some of your health, not build health. And that's a shame, and we want to get away from that for sure. So I encourage anyone wanting to learn from our journey to just like this video, subscribe to our channel, comment down below, let us know you're there. We would love to be in touch with some people. And I think it's important for us to do that. We need to lean on community in these times, and we need to lean on togetherness to help keep us secure and grounded, so that you know and I know that we have people. We have people who love us and care for us, and have our backs, I guess. And we can bless each other with the abundance that God has given us. So I'm going to end this video with a quote from one of my favorite homesteaders. Obviously you can see this is a Roots and Refuge hoodie. I'm a Roots and Refuge diehard. I love Joe Winger. I love Justin Rhodes, all those people. I'm going to close with one of Joe Winger's quotes that's probably my absolute favorite quote of hers that I've heard recently. So here's to us, the ones disenchanted with the blandness of conformity, the ones who swim upstream while the societal herd rides the river of least resistance, the ones who favor homegrown and handmade over cheap and mass-produced, the ones who embrace sweaty summer days and frigid winter nights instead of chasing constant comfort, the ones who grow, shepherd, nurture, produce, knead, and craft rather than consume, the ones who are old-fashioned on purpose and choose to truly live, not merely exist. Those are words to live by. I'm excited to choose this life and honored that God's given me the opportunity to move forward with this dream. I'm excited to be able to protect my future by creating bounty around myself and security in the relationships with the people that I have. So I thank you guys for watching my very first YouTube video. There will be more content. I don't have a schedule yet as to when I'm going to be putting out content, but I will be documenting our entire journey from here to Tennessee as best as I possibly can. So thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.